morning and welcome to another amazing Tuesday morning. It is beautiful. I can see behind you, Judy. It's nice and sunny. It's crisp. And welcome to Money Truth Moments with our very own Money Truth expert and whisperer, Judy Copenbarger. How are you?
It is a beautiful day. It's colder than it looks out there, though. It's sunny, but
It
it's cold.
is.
It's brisk, and I love it. So, how are you doing on this fine Tuesday morning?
I'm doing fantastic. I got up this morning, hit my gym, but like you said, it's a lot colder out there, man, because it took forever for my car to warm up, for sure. Folks, if you're just joining us, welcome. If you this is your first time, make sure that you also follow Judy at judycopenbarger.today and share out her links from there too. There's a lot of great content that you guys need to take a look at. She's got her YouTube channel. She's got all of her social media on there. So make sure you stay tuned. And today we have another great episode because we've been talking about family. We've been talking about different things on there as the beginning of the year. But today we're going to talk about startup success, right? We're going to touch a little bit on the business side of it and how to build a strong financial foundation. So what do you say we get started, Judy?
Let's do it.
All right, so let's talk business, right? We've been talking about families, and a lot of, with the new year comes a lot of folks who want to dive into business. A lot of people think that just because you're a business owner, it's a piece of cake once you're there, but they don't realize there's a lot of planning, there's a lot of struggle, there's, peaks and valleys, all that good stuff. So let me ask you, when you're talking to a potential new business person that's looking to get started, why is financial planning critical in the early stages of a business?
Oh, for survival, for
Right.
sustainability. Yeah. Yeah. Without any plan, and you've got to have a business plan. You've got to have your business org. You got to know, what am I creating or what service am I providing? What's it going to cost me to get it to the consumer? How am I going to get consumers? Maybe my cost is obtaining clients or obtaining customers. Where's the cost really going to go? So you've got to have a plan. How much am I willing to invest to start? Because you have to put money out before it starts to come in, right? Maybe a little, maybe a lot, depending on what your business is. How much am I going to spend on that? When it's time to scale, when the money starts to flow in, how will I allocate that to grow the business or to take a profit? How soon should I take a profit? How much protection should I put on the business? Do I have a business where I might have a liability? I have a product, maybe somebody will sue me or something will go wrong or something will happen with an employee that costs me money. How do I make sure that I'm protected against risks like that? So there's a lot of ways to spend money in a new business. And in my experience, most small businesses start up with someone who has a great idea. They have a passion, something that they really care about, a cause that they care about, or a product that they're really excited about, or something that they made that didn't even exist before. And they start doing it, and it's like somebody likes it, and it's like, oh, I'll do it again. And somebody else likes it. Oh, I'll do it again. And so it's like this interest or this hobby or this special passion that we have turns into a business. So if it's your passion, I've seen entrepreneurs say that 3 times fast. Entrepreneurs go crazy, spending so much money doing the thing. I'm going to make a new one. I'm going to make a blue one. I'm going to make a red one. I'm going to make a big one. I'm going to make a small one, right? And they're so passionate, they forget about the business side of things. What should I really spend on client acquisition, customer acquisition, cost of goods sold? Am I spending too much on the materials I need to make the thing? Am I spending too much distributing it, getting it to the consumers or shipping it out or whatever? So you've got to have a plan for that. That's a long-winded answer, but you got to have a plan for what's it going to look like in its infant stages and what's it going to look like 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now. What are my projections for income? How many of these things am I going to sell? How many clients am I going to serve or patients am I going to serve? And then how big do I want it to get? What am I going to do once I make it profitable? What am I going to do with that profit? Will I put it back in the business or put some in my pocket?
You've been doing this for just a little bit, right? Just for a little bit. You've been helping, not only
Don't tell
families.
people how long. Long time.
I'm treading carefully on that. So you've helped a lot of families, a lot of individuals and businesses over the years, and I'm sure you've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. But share with us, what are the most common financial mistakes new business owners tend to make?
Oh, they don't stick to the plan. First, you have a good one. You have a solid one. You have one that moves and breathes, but will sustain a business in its infancy, and then as it scales, as it grows. So I think people that don't stick to the plan, it's like, oh, all of a sudden I have money. I'm going to go buy a new car. Well, maybe it's not time for a new car. Maybe you need a work truck, right? Or maybe you need to invest money, put money into hiring someone to help you, to free you up to do the things that you should be doing, and not all the other administrative things that usually surprise business owners. Oh, I have to do taxes and keep accounting and track things and inventory. I have to do all that too. Well, yeah, or somebody does, right? So I think when people don't stick with a really good plan that they've created in their first place, that's when they get off course and it derails. And, in the US, I don't know about around the world, but in the US, most businesses do fail. And usually in short order, within a year or two. It's like, well, I spent all the money I had on it and there's nothing else coming in. So I guess I'll shut the doors, right? And you don't want that to happen. If you're going to run a business, you want to grow and protect it at the same time, keep your passion alive, delegate the things that you shouldn't be doing, and make sure all the administrative side, the back end of the business is handled. Now, the other side I've seen is entrepreneurs that love the back end. They love the spreadsheets and they love the budgeting and they love, allocating all the money to the things and hiring the people and interviewing. And they like that part. And they forget about keeping the product fresh or keeping the services top notch. And then pretty soon you just don't have the demand for whatever it is you're providing. And then so they're busy with the back end and the administrate. They like the business of it, right? And they forget to make a really good thing that people are really going to want to spend money on. So I think just not sticking with the plan is, the big overarching reason that people don't sustain their businesses and they eventually fail.
Wasn't there, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember that there was a saying that when you're doing a business, if you can make it past 5 years, then
Yeah.
it should be a little bit easier. Like that 5 year, I guess, is the hump that you got to get over when you're starting out.
Yeah, 5 years is good. Some businesses have lower overhead or lower cost of goods sold. And so within a couple of years, you'll actually see some profit. And then do I keep the profit or do I put it back in the business or maybe split the difference? So at 2 years, if you can turn a business around, you're onto something good. By 3 years, for sure. And if you make it 5 years, you probably have something that can weather the storm and be sustainable for sure.
Gotcha. And folks, if you're not, if you just tuned in, welcome. Make sure that you follow Judy at judycopenbarger.today. Also, start the beginning of the show as well too, because we are talking to your business folks, right? How to build a strong financial foundation. So I'm a new business. I have this great idea. I want to get started. And I'm coming to you, and I'm going to ask you, like, what are the essential steps in creating this startup budget or this spending plan for my business, right? What does that look like for somebody that's brand spanking new?
Yeah, well, there are three basic areas of business, and you want to make sure you cover all three. Some people don't even know that all three exist. So that's the first thing. And then how much money am I investing in initial capital or from my pocket or from my investors to start the business and sustain in the early stages before money's flowing this way? Because it flows that way first, right? And then it starts to ebb back in. And so you have operations. So what does it cost me to set up shop, to manufacture my thing, to provide the services? Do I need professionals to provide a service-based business? What does personnel look like? Operations. What makes it go to deliver what I'm delivering to the customer? And then you have the administrative side. So do I need an accountant? Do I need a CFO? Do I need someone to do the finances? Do I need an attorney? If I'm doing something that has any kind of contracts to it, real estate related, or maybe contracts with customers that I'm going to be delivering in bulk to, transportation contracts. Do I need attorneys in-house or do I need to have money set aside for them? Do I need to set up protection partnership agreements? Do I need to have patents? Am I going to patent my stuff? Am I going to protect it somehow legally? Do I need attorneys for that? All of that comes in the administrative. It's mostly like the lawyers and the accountants are going to be in that category. Anything that you'd need one of those kind of folks for. And then you have that. What do you have? Your operations. You have the administration, the management. Now, how am I going to herd the cats, right? Take care of my personnel, take care of the people that are making the widgets, that are delivering the widgets, the people that work down the office from me that are taking care of all that. So there's the management of all that. So the operations is the business, the management is managing all the stuff that makes the business go, and the administration is like the protection and the record keeping, the tracking of all of that. And so when you're setting up your budget, you want to make sure you cover all of those basic areas. It's like, oh, I didn't see around that corner. I didn't know I was going to need that. Well, lawyers cost a lot of money sometimes, right? Accountants can cost a lot of money. And, having someone that just keeps all those little ducks in a row for that part of my business, I didn't know I'd need a manager for that because I can't do that if I'm out creating the vision and carrying the torch for this company. So at some point, it scales too big for you to do everything. So the budget should be in alignment with all of those needs. So if you're starting a new business, find somebody who's in that business, or if it's something that nobody's ever done before, find someone in a related business or a business expert that's been through, a couple of these cycles, at least, and make sure that you get what you need in place so you don't fail because of lack of financing. Usually businesses, that's what happens. They start to scale. They don't have enough money to do the next step. And if you can't do the next step, then, it goes away. So budget that way. I hate the B word. It's a spending plan. You know how I feel about the B word. But yeah, create that spending plan. Work with someone who has been through it. And can kind of, help you anticipate, what do I need in cash reserves? What do I need in future capital? What do I need if I'm venturing, if I'm bringing in other investors? How do I propose that? Do I do it myself or do I hire someone for that part? So many questions, right? But it's exciting. Business is so fun because usually, it comes down to the heart of the passion that you have to deliver something to someone that nobody else can do in the way that you would. And
Absolutely.
it's just so much fun to be, ground start, the ground floor startups. Just they make me so happy. I love it. But I like it when they make it. I don't see very many that fail in my world, but I like it when they make it and it's like, wow, I didn't even know it could be this big. And I didn't know I could impact the world or my family in this way. It's so exciting.
So my next question, and I'm going to preface this with saying, I've seen the good, I've seen the bad, and I've seen the ugly of what I'm about to ask you. Because, for example, what funding options all these new entrepreneurs should consider, right? Do they consider personal savings, loans, investors? And that's why I talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. All of these categories have, all three faces to it, and what
Mhm.
you what would you recommend? Like if you're starting out with this, as far as the funding options, what are maybe some key things to look at or be careful with actually?
Yeah, there's so many ways to fund a business, so many ways to capitalize it. So a lot of people, with these little startups, it's their passion, and so the money comes out of their pocket. Friends and family first. Then they might go out to the community and say, okay, we're going to go, raise some funds. And you put your PowerPoint together or you hire somebody to go out and just say, here's a good investment. Here's what we're going to give you. What you need to consider there is when you're giving somebody something from your company, are you borrowing money from them and paying them an interest like a bond would work? Or are they actually buying into your company and getting some stock, some ownership of your company? That's a great way to go. And people like that because they believe in you and they believe in what you're doing. They want their share to grow with you. And every time there's a profit, they get a little piece of that, right? So we like that. That's like stock. We like that, but you want to make sure you don't dilute too early. And I've seen, businesses fail because of this. Well, if you've ever seen Shark Tank, they talk about that, right? You don't want to dilute too early your equity. Equity is how much you own of it. And when you start a business, it might be 100%, or you have a partner, it's 50% each, right? Or 51% if you want control. But then you bring in other people and you say, hey, I'll give you a couple of percent if you give us this much money, or 5% or 10%. Now you're diluting your stock. And eventually, the profit is like, I made all this profit, but I've got to pay all the people who invested as well. So you want to be careful to do that. Another way to do it is just conventional loans, SBA loans, for a smaller business, or there's hard money loans. I mean, there's a whole spectrum of money you can get. There's always a way to get your hands on money. There's nonprofits that loan out money. There's all kinds of people out there with cash, but they're going to want something for it, right? Either a guaranteed return or some kind of an interest, or they're going to want part of the company. And a lot of early businesses, I talked about the administrative people and the accountants and the lawyers and things like that, tech people. You can bring them in as partners, give them a little bit of equity, but it also can be an offset for the services they're providing. So if you need, for example, someone to help you with the patents and things like that, and you find a patent attorney or a patent tech guy who's really good at that, and that's what they do, you make them a partner for some share in your business. You don't have to pay all that money, all those billables, but now they're part of the business and they're going to grow with you. So there's great ways to do that. You just want to make sure you don't give away too much too soon just to make your business survive.
So I'm going to go back to my example. I'm brand new. I have this amazing idea that I want to launch 2025. And if I have one key takeaway today from you, I'm going to ask that what is one financial habit every entrepreneur should start developing early?
Well, I'm going to have to answer that with part A and part B. So you asked specifically for a financial habit, but I think more important than the financial habits is having the right bench, having the right team, having the right people that support you and can see around the corner for the things that you're not aware of and can just lift you up and go, oh, we need to course correct. You didn't even know, but we need to course correct. But to answer your question, part A, what you really asked, the financial thing, I would think have the plan, stick to the plan. It's not an original answer. I said this a little bit earlier, but stick with the plan. So what's so easy is you have a brand new business and you say, here's what I'm doing. I've done it for 60 days now. And it's like, the clients aren't coming in. The customers aren't coming in. I can't get them to click, convert to be a customer. How do I get them to, client acquisition, right? Customer acquisition. How do I get them to convert? So then you change your whole plan that you had for marketing or distribution, and then you do something different for the next 60 days. And then you spin your wheels and you go, well, that's not working. Like maybe you needed to just fine tune it a little bit for it to work. But now you're going to just revamp the whole thing, spend the next 30 of this next 60 days trying to figure out a new way to get them to buy it, right? And then here comes another 60 days come and gone. When you should be focused on serving your clients or developing that product or developing a new genre of products, and you're just like you're stuck in the administrative or the distribution part. So maybe that's when you need to just say, okay, I'm going to stick with the plan. I need someone to help me market, or I need someone to help me distribute, or someone to help me make these things better because they don't like how the wheels fall off, whatever it is. So I would say that would be my financial advice is provide for that and then stick with the plan.
Awesome. Folks, we're getting close to the end of the show. And also, if you're not following Judy, please do so at judycopenbarger.today. A quick way to find all of her content immediately all over social media is put in the hashtag Judy Copenbarger, and that'll take you just about everywhere you can think of. All of her content will be out there, and you have a quick access on your web browser directly to see her as well, too. And with that said, being towards the end of the show, you know what that means. It is our Money Truth Challenge today. So what do you got for us?
Okay, this is for you entrepreneurs out there, business owners, someone who has a good idea and you just never really had the courage or the timing, to launch this thing. So if you're in the early stages of a business or considering one, I think the smartest thing that you can do is put 3 boxes, turn your paper sideways and put 3 big squares, 3 big boxes. And one of them is called operations, one of them is called management, and one of them is called administration. And in each box, write number 1, 2, 3, right? The top 3 things you're going to need to sustain this business for you, right? If it's management, do I need to hire someone? Do I need to outsource something? Do I need to have manufacturing? What do I need to do with these people to manage the people and make sure the business keeps going? If it's operations, what do I need to do to make the product or deliver the service? Do I need to create content? Do I need to set up something in my garage, some kind of a manufacturing something, where am I going to source my stuff and where am I going to source everything? And if it's administration, do I need an attorney? Do I need an accountant? Do I need people to come in house and help me track things, inventory kind of things? What do I need? 1, 2, 3 in each of the big 3 parts of your business. Lay that out. And if you're already in business and haven't done this, it will be like gold. It will reveal to you your next steps and how to financially prepare for that. That's your challenge.
All right. Awesome. Great challenge. Great way to start this. You entrepreneurs, you need to get back to us. Let us know how you're doing. If you have additional questions that we can add to your success, please let us know. And I'm sure that Judy would love to, talk about that. Judy, any last parting words?
Make it a great day and make that business go. You can do it.
All right, folks. We will see you here next Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. Replays are on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Until next week. Take care. Be safe.
Bye-bye.